Once we leave here in a couple minutes, we'll walk down Lorraine to the West 25th Rapid Station, hop on the Rapid, and then head over to the Tower City Theater. There's so many opportunities, like the Film Fest, for example. Just, from hopping on the Rapid to coming down to the Film Fest, it's a 10-day event here in Cleveland, and it's just a great opportunity for these guys to get exposed. This is just one of the many avenues that Cleveland has available to our students. It brings real-life learning to the kids, gets them outside of the class and interacting in the bigger world.
My name is Adam Barch. I work at Cleveland Clinic. I'm the director of the Spine Research Laboratory at Lutheran Hospital on West 25th Avenue. And recently been working with Saint Ignatius on a couple of projects. We worked with them, their football team, this summer on an NFL charity-sponsored project to look at concussion. We've expanded that into our Intelligent Mouthguard project, working with the Saint Ignatius hockey team this past season.
So Cleveland Clinic approached our team and said, we're doing a concussion study, can you players help out? And our coach asked us, and I signed up. I thought it would be interesting to do. Basically, I just took a baseline test with iPads and everything. We did that, and then they came to our practices and fitted us with mouth guards with sensors and gave us other mouth guards to wear in games.
We had the chance before the season to test these kids and basically get baseline values for how they do on all of our different tests. We have a number of different tests that test cognition, balance, basically an eye test, and figure out how they are before the season, and then if they are ever injured or they're concussed, then we have the chance to basically track their symptoms and how they're doing at the time of injury and then through recovery. So when they return to their normal baseline values, they're healthy and they can return to play.
There were 4 varsity athletes that were outfitted with the Cleveland Clinic Intelligent Mouthguard. So this is essentially a standard mouthguard that has a computer circuit board inside of it with some sensors, a microprocessor, and then it's tethered to a battery, an on-off switch, and a little data connector. So what we did is we actually had these molded for 4 varsity players, and they wore them in practices.
We hear about professional research with like NHL teams or like professional sports, and it was cool that they actually are doing stuff with high schools, and especially our high school, because not every place gets a chance like this to work in a study like this.
They realize deep down how important it is and how cool it would be to look back in 20 or however many years it is and say, hey, I was part of that, and if it stops one concussion from happening in the next couple of years, then it was worth it.
Saint Ignatius Ploughman is a group committed to growing, educating about food and food resources, both on campus and off campus.
The Ploughman week, we start on Tuesday really, and Tuesday is just a normal check everything day. So we check on the greens. We get guys who check in the greenhouse and they water or they weed or they transplant. Some guys go and check on the bees, which we recently got. Other guys will go out to Chatham, other guys will go out to the Jesuit residence and check on that garden.
Never before had I done anything with plants or bees, for that matter, at all, so it's been definitely an eye-opening experience. And our activities have ranged from changing the soil in the beds near the Jesuit cows, all the way to changing the frames in the beehives. So it really ranges differently from week to week.
The food, we're going to do a number of different things with the food. Short term, we're going to donate some to the Westside Catholic Center and kind of build that local network. For us, I think a big part is caring for creation. I think in a technological world, I think to dip your hands into the soil gives you a real sense of the gift of life and nurturing things and helping them grow, and to recognize what a gift the simplicity of food is.
The most fulfilling part would probably be knowing that you're really making an impact on the campus and the community, and that you're going to leave your mark at Ignatius even after you graduate.
The Circus Company is a bunch of enthusiastic, passionate students who have a lot of patience, because learning how to juggle and learning how to perform magic takes a lot of practice. It's a service organization at its core. We perform at nursing homes, we perform for schools and churches, fundraisers.
The Circus Company I always describe as mainly a performance-based group, but it's a great opportunity for people to come together and share a skill. So most people come in not knowing how to juggle, but we learn together. Senior members pass it on to the younger guys. And so it's a social event, it's learning how to perform, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, it's just amazing how much it just brightens up a person's day when they see someone juggling 5 balls or performing something that's just unbelievable.
The Breen Center was built about 3 years ago to meet the needs of our students at Saint Ignatius High School, and also as a clear statement to the community that the arts are important in the education of our young men here at Saint Ignatius High School. One of the advantages that we've discovered at the Breen Center is that we've been able to attract groups. We call these groups our artists in residence. We, for example, have the Singers Club here. The Singers Club is a community chorus of men. They rehearse here every week and they do concerts at the rate of about 3 a year. And this is great modeling because it shows our students that singing can continue to be a lifetime activity for them. Our second group of artists in residence is the Blue Water Chamber Orchestra. We are probably the only high school in the country that has a professional orchestra in residence.
Blue Water Chamber Orchestra was formed 4 years ago, and we gave our first concert here at Saint Ignatius High School at the beautiful Breen Center for the Performing Arts. The organization is a cooperative organization. That means that the orchestra itself runs the orchestra. Interaction with the students comes in several different ways. We give out free concert tickets to each of our events, and then also we do a master class yearly here at the school, work individually with the kids. Also, Blue Water established and helped form the new string program here as part of the curriculum at St. Ignatius.
And we feel like we're adding a kind of liveliness to the neighborhood and contributing to this amazing site of Ohio City.
I'm Giuliana Burroughs. I'm a fine arts teacher. We're really in a great cultural hub of Cleveland, and I want the students to realize how fortunate they are to be involved in this community. So for my beginning level students, I just take the class period and we walk to the West Side Market and we experience all the energy and almost chaos at the market. The culture that's around us and the community that's around us learns from us just as much as we learn from them. And the more we collaborate with the people that exist in the different programs in the market, it's just bringing learning outside of the school building, which if you can take advantage of that, we're really privileged.
I'm Frank Lewis. I'm the founder and executive director of Ohio City Writers, which is a nonprofit creative writing program for kids.
You know, we're real excited about the Ohio City Writers Project. And we thought, what a natural fit. We're trying to help kids find audience for pieces. We're trying to make, writing is not just something done only for classes.
And we've talked about Ignatius students being involved in the work we're going to do here. I see it particularly with them working with younger kids, whether it's in our after-school drop-in tutoring or with writing-specific workshops that we're doing.
When students realize that language like that on the page can communicate to a broad audience about experiences they've had that are exciting or they feel really committed about, you really get some excited students. And that's, for us, that's an important and exciting moment.
My name is Jim Brennan. I've been the moderator of the Men of Regis for the last 6 years. The Men of Regis is a group of students who come over during their lunch period and just come and visit with the people at the West Side Catholic Center, our neighbors. When we first started, people were a little bit standoffish. Why are you here? Are we, so the reception was kind of a little bit cold at first. After about 2 weeks, people were very happy to see guys. One of the things for the first couple years I would ask people here at West Side Catholic Center, I know what our kids get out of it, but is anybody here getting anything out of it? Is this beneficial? And it's like, absolutely. And it really struck me about 2 years ago when people started asking about our graduates, guys who had been part of the program, had gone off to college, and asking by name, how's so-and-so doing and all that. And I realized that it was working.
We just come here and it's pretty basic. You just sit and eat with people, but it's less about the food and more just about the friendship and being there for some people. And it's a learning experience for us since obviously it's a lot different from our normal day-to-day lives.
It kind of forces you to just be totally on your own out in this place where you're kind of nobody almost. You're coming into their home basically where they hang out and you're the stranger here. It's not them. And so it just makes you kind of appreciate like an acceptance and want to be like bigger, be more open.
A big part of leadership, I think, is listening. And I think that one of the things that happens with the programs around here we try to emphasize is to listen. to not just come in with an agenda and kind of put it there, to have a vision to be sure, but to modify that vision in light of the needs that people really have. To be able to listen to what people's needs are, to be able to really kind of take the vision that we have, the ultimate goal that we have, the resource we have, and kind of pull all those together. And I think that's essentially what leadership is.
And I think that helps them come to an understanding that the world is bigger than who they are and what they've experienced up to that point in their lives, to the ages of 15 or 16. So I just think it gives them an appreciation that the world is much bigger than who they are and how they can contribute and make a difference in the world.
It's really just kind of eye-opening to how many people actually need help, because when you're serving the food, they actually call it numbers, so it's in order, and there's times where it gets up to like 130 people, and it's just kind of surprising to how many people need help.
The mission trip started about 8 years ago, and during that time we were having several trips that were going out of the country, and a former colleague and I sat down and we thought about the need right here in Cleveland. We thought there are all kinds of issues and problems here in Cleveland too that we could examine without having to travel far away. And so we sat down and came up with the Cleveland mission trip and ran with it from there.
I remember we went over to just a field and we had no idea what it was, and we were all sitting in a circle. Mr. Strauss, he talked about how if you looked about 50 feet over, Babe Ruth hit his 500th home run there. If you looked like 50 feet the other way, Cy Young pitched there, because it was what used to be League Park. An idea of how things you see aren't necessarily what they actually are. Kind of like a metaphor for the people we meet through the week. They may not look the nicest, but you can't really tell who they are until you get to know them.
We got to see the great need in Cleveland that's right outside our window, as well as the great growth that Cleveland has right now and has had and can have in the future.
It was a great experience because it really offered them an opportunity to stay involved with the people that we met.
It's more about like finding the community of Cleveland. So we're out in the streets, we're out in homeless shelters, we are at places where they give them food.
And we got to explore the culture and growing businesses and new ideas like urban farming, but also kind of live in a little bit of solidarity with those in need in the actual community through like sleeping outside, or we had almost every meal at either the Westside Catholic Center or St. Malachy's.
The first year that we had it, when we were done with the mission trip, we were working with the daycare center, and the students actually went back that fall. They had a Halloween party for the kids and did other various activities. So it's a nice way to extend our relationship.
The service that we perform at Ignatius is definitely an extension of the classroom, because obviously theology classes, you talk about becoming a Christian man for others, and it's not like you're just talking about it, you're actually going out and doing it out here in the community with your classmates.
Arupe started in 1991. Father Welsh at the time thought that we wanted to figure out a good way to work with the neighborhood. He saw opportunity here. He knew that there was need. There should be some good relationship building stuff that could take place. Today, Arupe looks a lot like an after-school program. We have a summer program. We have about 120 kids a week from the neighborhood, 3rd through 8th graders. And then we have about 80 high school people each week, some committing to the whole year with our Bigs and Littles program or our Arupe Explorers.
The Bigs and Littles program is this, well, every Wednesday we meet with our little, and we kind of do different activities. Like, today we had Earth Day, and we kind of have a theme for every day, and kind of get to know the kids. It's just, it's fun. You always look forward to it during the week, and it's a good time.
It's a chance to try to live the Gospels. It's a chance to enter into a relationship that might not be in our everyday lives.
Once I got to meet the kids, I knew that it wasn't about how my experience was in the Arupe Summer program, but it was about helping the kids.
It does make you feel good, and it does really help out, make a better community and a better lifestyle for, the people surrounding you.
A lot of our board members now are Saint Ignatius graduates that have been out in the business world and the professional world in various capacities, and they are drawn back to service, and I believe it's because of that service mentality that Saint Ignatius nurtures and grows from the very beginning.
We're really excited about today because some young kids are coming in and they're going to see how a bike shop works. And we're going to talk to them about you know, how we stock the shelves and pick the bikes that we pick, and you know, what we do for our customers on a daily basis, you know, why we do what we do.
I always liked how Ignatius opened its doors to the neighborhood. It seemed like they took an interest in seeing the neighborhood around itself succeed. A lot of places could have easily just shut their doors and put up a wall. They did the exact opposite.
Maybe sometimes when all the kids are, you know, coming out from school, and I mean, just the memories that sort of brings back. I mean, it seems like yesterday that I was a senior in high school and, you know, a student and doing everything that they were doing.
The fact that places like Ignatius have always been around really gives a foundation to the neighborhood, and it gives all of the new energy something to build off of going into the future.
I mean, I feel like I never left. You know, I feel like I live in the neighborhood. My window looks over the tower. I wake up with it every day, and I love that.
Our most committed residents in Ohio City are Saint Ignatius graduates. Some of our newest business owners are Saint Ignatius graduates. And we're working every day with folks who grew to love this neighborhood and grew to love this city, going to school at Saint Ignatius, who want to find a place for themselves to live or a place to start a business.
Saint Ignatius High School has truly developed me to choose to do the things that are right. Choose to go on a Sunday morning to Metro Hospital and take patients to Mass, or on a Tuesday night go out to a large community home and share a meal with the mentally disabled. It's helped me to make those right choices.